Son of a multimillionaire. Okay, so this is the TV and presidential elections synthesis. This was one of the first ones that the College Board released when they switched over to the synthesis. There's a spot on this template for a hook position. Okay, sessions and nuggets. Okay, remember the slideshow? Remember the slideshow, Caitlin? It was like acing the synthesis essay. It's kind of like making an omelet, right? You're putting in nuggets of stuff into your omelet. You don't put in an entire paragraph from the documents. You just put in a little nugget, and then you synthesize that too. Does that ring a bell? We went over this a couple times. Okay, so, and then there's a spot for CNC, remember concede counter, nuggets, and even a spot for your outside knowledge. I think you will have outside knowledge on this. Raise your hand if you've seen like a presidential debate on TV. Okay, then you have outside knowledge. Okay. So this is the one we're going to be doing. It says 15 minutes for reading. Does everybody have this pulled up? I would use about 10 minutes for reading, and then the other 5 doing a chicken foot for your argument, and then 40 minutes to write. Introduction. Television has been influential in the United States presidential election since the 1960s. But just what is this influence and how has it affected who is elected? Has it made elections fairer and more accessible? Or has it moved candidates from pursuing issues to pursuing image? So does anyone know the first presidential debate that was televised? It was Kennedy and Nixon. Kennedy and Nixon, in the 60s. If you go to the Kennedy Library, it's in Boston. Every president has a library. It's kind of like a museum. Has anyone ever been to a presidential library? There's 2 in our area. The Nixon is in Anaheim. No one's been to that one. And then the Reagan is in Simi Valley. They're both pretty cool. The Reagan one has like pieces of the Berlin Wall. It has an Air Force One. The Nixon one has a Marine One, helicopter. All these artifacts he got from visiting the Great Wall of China. Okay, so basically the intro is saying, has TV made people more aware of issues, or has it just made the candidates more reliant on like how good do they look in front of the camera? Okay. Then the assignment. Read the following sources, including the intro information carefully, then an essay that synthesizes at least 3 of the sources for support. Remember, 3-egg omelet. Take a position that defends, challenges, or qualifies the claim that television has had a positive impact on presidential elections. So if it says defend, what does that mean, Hurry-On? What are we defending? That TV has had a positive impact on the elections. Okay, and if we challenge, we're saying no. We are going to challenge for the purpose of our walkthrough. TV has had a negative effect on elections. And then qualify, what does that mean, Jake? Do you know? Do you remember? Qualify? That would be defended. So challenge, you're going against it. Defending it, you're saying yes. Qualify is Rogerian. Caitlin, what's Rogerian? Do you remember?
To solve a problem through compromise.
Solve a problem through compromise. Okay, so we are going to challenge. So the first thing I would do is read the first source from Angus Campbell, Has TV Reshaped Politics? Read through that on your own and look for nuggets as concessions. This source defends it. We are going to challenge. So we're looking for nuggets as concessions that we're going to concede and counter. So take a minute to read through that. And you should be able to copy and paste from here because I made a PDF. Okay, so let's go back to the article. So let's say you wanted to use this quote from the second paragraph as a nugget. Did anyone highlight this or copy it? Okay, a few people. So you copy that, go back to the document, go down to concessions, and then you can paste it. So go ahead and do that now. So I would maybe do a lead in. I'll unfreeze it, sorry. Thank you. Although TV, quote, provides a new direct and sensitive link between Washington and the people, it has created a numbing effect on our society. And then I'm going to put source A or Campbell in parentheses. So I conceded, and then I countered. Concede, and then counter. Remember CNC and crush. Okay? Concede and crush. What's another good nugget from source A that we could use as a concession? Let's speed it up for the video. You know, Michaela has to watch this. Yes, hurry on.
As we grew, we lost this feeling of direct contact. Television has now restored it.
Okay, good. So, and again, we don't have to take the whole quote. We could just take the nugget, direct contact, for our computer who wants to cooperate. Go back to the document. TV has restored, quote, bless you, bless TV, direct contact. But at what cost? I don't know. Source A, or Doc A, or Campbell. Okay. So remember, for TV, people just had radio, so they listened to the debates on the radio. Before the radio, they would read about the debates in the newspaper, or they would read about the presidential candidates in the newspaper. Maybe if you lived in a big city like New York or Philadelphia, they would come in on the train and people would wait at the train station and they'd get off and give a speech. Now we have direct contact because you just turn on the TV and it's kind of annoying when the debates are on, I think. It's on like 5 channels. You notice? Okay. Any other nuggets in source A that we could concede? Caitlin?
The part that says have appeared to make a novel contribution to the political life of the nation.
Okay. Yeah, you could use that. I probably wouldn't use that, but you could. Just remember, you're kind of on a time crunch, so you're just trying to go through these, crank through each document. Okay, what can I use? What can I not use? Be selective. Let's go to the next one. Now, the next one is going to be heavy on our side, so we're going to use it, and we're going to be looking for what? What are we looking for, Lila? Nuggets as support, just like the omelet has nuggets of avocado or nuggets of bacon or nuggets of tomato. You don't put a whole tomato in your omelet. Okay, so take a minute to read this one. It's kind of funny about Bill Clinton and going on MTV. Resume. Okay, so this one I put as a nugget from source B. Because of TV, presidents are losing their distinctiveness, and this makes the process diluted. Source B. So I have a little nugget, and then I have a little commentary. And of course, if I'm writing the whole essay, then I'm going to put more commentary on this. Okay. Do we really need to know what type of underwear the president wears? I don't think so. I don't think that's necessary. Other things about President Trump I'd rather not know. Okay, and then that's another good one from this source. This source is pretty rich in support of our side as a challenge.
No longer feel the need for prey goods.
Okay, good. So we can copy this down here toward the bottom. So people watch, Obama on MTV and they're like, okay, looks cool. So even though I'm a Republican, I'm going to vote for him. So let's put that down as a nugget. Put a little lead in. Clean it up. Bless you. And then I would say, and this, I'm going to add a little commentary. So I'm going to say, and this also has a negative effect on both major political parties. And you could say Docby. You could say the author. And then you don't have to always quote. You could just say the president revealing his or her underwear type is literally too much information. TMI. I don't really think I need much else added to that. So how many sources have I cited, Mr. Tubbs? 2 sources, A and B. Okay, we haven't gotten to C yet. Okay, how many do we need, Alex? 3. I also like this quote, all text, serious and sophomoric swirled together. Did anyone highlight that? One person. What is sophomoric? Let's put that one in our nuggets. We're going to go pretty heavy on this source because it's great for our side. What's sophomoric? Young and immature. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to add a little lead in. TV, sadly, causes, all text. Clean it up so it makes sense grammatically. And this causes hyperfamiliarity. That's a quote. So I'm going to put it in quotes. For voters. I'll say for voters. This is B again. So let's put B. So I have 2 sources. Pretty heavy on B. You can turn on CNN and then 1 minute, like the presidential candidates talking about their position on immigration, and the next minute you change the channel and there's MTV and Hillary Clinton is talking about what type of underwear he wears. So all text, serious and sophomoric or foolish swirled together. I like the losing the distinctiveness too, but let's move on because of time. This one's interesting. It's from the New Yorker. Take a minute to read it and then see if you find any nuggets as a concession, or it'd probably be on the concession side for this one. Okay. What could we use from this one? Jake.
Image over content.
Very good. I like the image over content. I also like image rather than ideals. So I'm going to use that one. But both are good. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to use this as a nugget. TV debates turn out to be a competition between images rather than ideals. This is C. And don't we want to learn more about the candidates' ideals, the ideals of Trump and Harris? Or do we just want to see how good Trump looks with a spray tan? So you could say Doc C. And you can also just paraphrase and say, isn't it sad that people listening on the radio thought it was a tie, but TV skewed the results Camelot's favor. Camelot is JFK. Okay. So I guess the story is Nixon was sick and he's a lot older than Kennedy. Okay. So, and then the lights from the camera were like making him sweat. So people watching on TV would see like this JFK, you know, the guy that sleeps with Marilyn, and then this old guy sweating. So they thought Kennedy won, but if you were listening to the radio, you thought, oh, it's pretty even. So skews the results. I like the dumb down the issues also. Did anyone like that? 2 people. Let's copy that too. And then I'm going to add a little commentary. Is this really the product we want for our national debates? So let's go back to the docs. Now we have 3. Go to source D. Source D is interesting. This is the Nielsen ratings. Raise your hand if you heard of the Nielsen ratings. Nielsen ratings are interesting. They tell you how many people watched a show. Like last year, the Nielsen ratings said 123 million people watched the Super Bowl. It was a record. Okay. Let's put that in our at the bottom. That's outside knowledge. See how many watch this Sunday. Patriots. People, they have a pretty big fan base. And then the Nielsen ratings also tell you like what percentage of people tuned in to a particular thing. So if you look at it, you say like, oh, 59% watched Kennedy Nixon. They estimated that was 28 million homes. Then in 1976, 52% rating watched Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford. That was 63 million people. So they expanded it to include homes and people, because obviously, you might have more than one TV, more than one person watching the TV. So take a minute to analyze this chart from the Nielsen ratings and see if there's any nugget you could use to support our argument, challenging the value of TV's impact on presidential elections. Okay, so I was thinking some interesting numbers here. And if you know anything about American history, maybe you could tie that in. Show off what you learned from Mr. Braille or Mr. Harnett or Mr. Birkencotter or whoever you have. Anything stand out from the Nielsen ratings? Hurry on.
Like, since 1984, like, it's been decreasing with the number of people that watch it.
Okay, good. So you could say, you go back to the chart. The Nielsen ratings prove that overall viewership has led to a decline and a I think they must be playing tag upstairs in freshman English. I don't know what they're doing. Heads up, 7-Up. What was I saying? Nielsen ratings prove that overall viewership has declined. And hyperfamiliarity is on the rise. Okay. It's like too much. Okay. They have too many debates. There are too many channels. People become numb. There was a spike in 1980. Did you see a lot of people watched 1980? What would be the reason, you think? Anybody know? $1980. Okay, a couple things. 1980 had Reagan. Who was Reagan before he became president? He was a movie star. Okay, so people watch because, oh, it's Ronald Reagan. Right? And then 1980, there was an oil crisis going on. There were like really long lines at the gas station. There was a hostage crisis in Iran. So people were tuning in like, who's going to solve this hostage crisis? Okay. Hundreds of or dozens of people, dozens of Americans were held hostage in Iran for months and months and months. Carter tried to get them out, failed. So then they voted for Reagan. Ultimately, he got them out. Not him, but the CIA and the military. So people do watch when there's a crisis and when someone famous is on, okay? Like Trump. People watched, right? When he debated Hillary, okay? When he debated Kamala, because who was Trump before he became the king of America? He was a real estate developer and he held his own reality show, right? The Apprentice. Look it up on YouTube. It's pretty funny. Okay. He had a very popular reality TV show. So here people are watching because it's Ronald Reagan. He was a movie star. Okay. People are watching because it's Donald Trump, because he's like, oh, he had his own reality. I liked The Apprentice. Okay, I didn't, but that's what I'm saying. Okay, so you could say, although, maybe I'll put this up in my concessions. The Nielsen ratings does show that people will tune in if there is a crisis, a national crisis. But they might also tune in for superficial reasons. The Apprentice, or Ronald Reagan's Hollywood fame. That's deep. So conceding, and then I'm adding what? Izzy? I'm conceding and adding what? Counter argument. Counter argument. I like to say C and C, right? Concede and counter, or concede and crush. So we have lots of nuggets for support. We have a few concessions, and we have some outside knowledge. Let's add to this outside knowledge. Here we had the stat I gave you about the last year's Super Bowl was a record. Guess how many people watched Harris and Trump? Kamala and Donald debated. She lost, he won. How many people? Take a wild guess. Hurry on. 1 million. Oh, 100 million. No, it was like 60 something. So we could add to our outside knowledge and say only half that care to tune in to decide who the leader of the free world is going to be. Bless you, bless America for all its flaws. People like TV, though, and now they really like social media. Okay, so looking for nuggets. Go back to the docs. Go to Austin Ramney's Channels of Power. Read this one and look for nuggets and support. I'm going to let you add that yourself. And then read this one from Ted Koppel. Add any nuggets for support. And then we'll go back and work on our hook and thesis. So go ahead and do that at your own pace. Okay. So now you should have nuggets in support of your argument from all the sources that you want to, and some concessions as well. And it's a quick template. Let's go back and try to work on our hook and our thesis. Sometimes it might be helpful to do your thesis first and then leave a spot for the hook. Remember, in May, when you go to the gym, you'll be typing this. And then for our synthesis, we will be typing as well. We will not be handwriting. Okay, so how should you start the thesis or claim for the synthesis, you think, Dylan? Nice and loud for the... How should you start the thesis? I mean, the claim. Yeah. So I like although. So let's do our claim. We'll say although TV has given us a direct link and greater access. Bless you. Bless TV. It has also had many detrimental effects on presidential election process. And if you wanted to preview some of them, you could talk about hyperfamiliarity or the serious and sophomoric swirling together, etc. So we could add a dash here, or you could add a second sentence and make a two sentence thesis. Let's see if I can type. So you could say like TV adds to hyperfamiliarity and a pursuit of images over ideals. Okay, so kind of synthesizing ideas from the sources in my own claim. Now I have a clear thesis, which is 1 point. I'm heavy on concessions and counterarguments, which demonstrates a nuanced argument. Nuggets and support with commentary. So I'm heavy on evidence and commentary. Now I need an artistic hook and then bring that full circle at the end for my thesis. So I'm going to pause again and let you write your own hook. And then if you want to read your hook, maybe I could give you a Girl Scout cookie. Would you like a Girl Scout cookie, Lucy?
I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I have some in my fridge, chilling. Okay, let's wrap this up. So hopefully you have a hook. Would someone like to read their hook for a Girl Scout cookie? They're caramel delights, formerly called Samoas. They're pretty good, Lucy. Might pair nicely with your Ritz crackers. Anybody? Lara.
I said, TV has revolutionized society on a global scale from children's cartoons to motion picture masterpieces to informative content, but is it all ethical?
Is it all ethical? Yeah, that's a good question. Nice. Come receive your prize. It might pair nicely with your caffeinated sparkling soda. Anybody else? Okay, so mine was over 120 million people will watch the Super Bowl on Sunday, yet sadly far fewer will watch the presidential debates. This proves that America has become numb to politics on TV, and with social media in the mix now, it's only going to get worse. And then at the end, I would probably talk about, in my conclusion, I might tie in that outside knowledge. Why is it that only 60-some million people will watch who's going to lead our country for the next 4 years, and twice that many will get drunk and watch an NFL game? What does that say about America and where we're headed? So again, always go for the thesis. For the hook, even if you think it's cheesy and you're like, I can't really think of a good one, but just put one down and then try to come full circle at the end. Don't feel like in your conclusion that you have to restate your thesis. This is not 8th grade English. It's AP Lang. Be artistic and try to get that sophistication point.